So, since quite a lot of people are actually interested in intermittent fasting, here's another one. Another one about intermittent fasting. And this time actually from a pretty, I think, trustworthy source, I guess. At least, it really comes up to how you think about these things and how you think about universities. Because we are talking about Harvard University. Yeah, I found, just because I was looking up a little bit about intermittent fasting, I found an article from 2018, so it's relatively recently, or a relatively new one, from the Harvard Health Publishing. I really do like the Harvard sites or the Harvard Health site, just because I trust in them, I do not know if I actually should trust them, only because they have I think such a good reputation, I have to say, or at least I guess. I think this is actually the reason why I believe in them being, right, or in them being or in them distributing some truthful knowledge, or some knowledge that is actually right, rather than just some bullshit. But I don't know, this is the thing. I don't actually know if this is actually a good thing to do. But yeah, I'm still gonna go through it. I'm still going to go through this one. Yeah, I do just need to get my anti-echo blanket. As always, because I noticed that there is quite some echo here and there, and this should not be the case. Therefore, we have our fucking anti-echo blanket. I actually also have two of these, I also have two of these, which is amazing just because I can cover my whole desk. It looks so stupid. It looks so motherfucking stupid. It's amazing. I can show you a little bit, I guess. I think it's pretty cozy, to be honest, It really is cozy. The thing is, it is not really the most comfortable thing for me to just sit here with, I don't know, the table full of stuff, really full of stuff, especially also just some food that I've left from yesterday and something. Yeah. Well, we actually go ahead with the thing, and the screen is already there. That's amazing. Is it actually bigger than it used to be? I think it is actually, I think it is actually bigger. Let me see. Is it bigger? Either I'm a complete retard right now, or it is actually bigger. I don't know. Never mind. Let's actually go ahead with this small little article. It is really not that long of an article, but still, I guess it is such a size or such a length that I consider it being just good. I guess especially for me reading it and then for me talking about it. Going through a really, 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 really long article, especially in one single episode, is not the easiest thing, and it is also not the best thing to do and the nicest thing for me to do. But yeah, intermittent fasting and surprising update. This one is from Monique Tello, MD and MPH, and she's a contributing editor. Whatever it actually is, I don't fucking know. So there's a ton of incredibly promising intermittent fasting, or IF, as they are going to shortcut it throughout the article, I assume at least. Research done on fat rates. They lose weight, their blood pressure, cholesterol, and the blood sugars improve. But they are rats. They are fucking rats. Studies in humans almost across the board have shown that intermittent fasting is safe and incredibly effective, but really no more effective than any other diet. In addition, many people find it difficult to fast. I do have to say, I've been intermittent fasting for 2 weeks now. At least I consider me intermittent fasting. In the end, it might not be the case, just because I often actually only have not 16 hours as it usually is, or as people usually do, but I'm rather having 12 hour fast or something. So I'm still fasting, I'm still really fasting. But the thing is, people say you should fast 16 hours and then eat for 8 hours or something. I do believe that they're talking about this in this article, as well as being not really the truth, at least as I've seen it by scrolling through it and actually headline reading all the things. So yeah, I'm doing it. I'm at the time doing it, so I haven't eaten my breakfast. I still have a chewing gum in my mouth just because it somehow helps me with my fast, actually. Even though, like, I don't know, it is some Italian chewing gum. Is it okay to show the brand? Because I don't know. Like, I do not want to get striked or some shit like this, or fucked by whatever. And I think it's seven of these pieces have 16 calories, which means 16 divided by 7. Yeah, so 2 calories each of these little pieces, or whatever they actually call them, which is, I think, quite okay. Like, I think it is okay for the fasting that you are consuming, like, I don't know, like such a small amount of calories. If you're really strict and if you're really like, well, I do not want to eat anything, I don't want to eat or consume any calorie, then please don't do it. So, but a growing body of research suggests that the timing of the fast is key and can make intermittent fasting a more realistic, sustainable and effective approach for weight loss as well as for diabetes prevention. I didn't even know that it is actually for diabetes prevention. I always thought like yeah, it is only for weight loss and only people using it as a diet and some shit like this. I didn't know that. I generally know that there is just quite some health benefits to it, but yeah, that's quite it what I know. And I do not even know the full benefits. I don't know. Like, I in general think that fasting has always been a thing, and people have always been doing it, which doesn't really mean that it is good. Like, I do not want to say only because people have done it for just, I don't know, hundreds and thousands of years. Well, actually hundreds of years, I guess. Maybe even for hundreds of thousands of years. At least thousands of years, I guess. It doesn't really mean that it is good then. Like, I don't know, we have been sacrificing human beings, I guess. Which is like, I don't know, insane. Unless people want to do it. I don't know, like, yeah. The thing is, we have done it, we have done it for quite a long time. And I do somehow believe that there is something about it. Like, not eating something, I don't know. Like, for me, it somehow just sounds like it makes sense. I can't actually give you a reason why I'm thinking this way. Maybe also because some other people have been talking about it, like people on Gary Vee's podcast, for example. They've been also talking about intermittent fasting and or fasting in general. And, well, yeah, such a lot of people do it. And which doesn't also mean like, okay, you should be doing something only because a lot of people do it. Unless I do also have to say, like, if it's just a bunch of people who are just incredibly high performing, let's say, I don't know, Tony Robbins and then Gary and I don't know, give me a third one. What could be the third person? I don't know, like Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos as well. Like, if all those people and Elon Musk, if all those people are doing it, like, there must be something about it, At least I kind of feel about it like this. I kind of think about it like this, Maybe it's only me. Could also be the case. The backstory of intermittent fasting. So IF as a weight loss approach has been around in various forms for ages, but was highly popularized in 2012 by BBC broadcast journalist Dr. Michael Mosley's TV documentary Eat Fast, Live Longer and Book the Fast Diet, followed by journalist Kate Harrison's book The 5 to 2 Diet based on her own experience, and subsequently by Dr. Jason Fung's 2016 bestseller, or Dr. Jason Fung's 2016 bestseller, The Obesity Code. Yeah. IF generated a steady positive buzz as anecdotes of its effectiveness proliferated. What does proliferated even mean? It means the debate continued and articles in the media proliferated, increase rapidly, grow rapidly, multiply, become more numerous, mushroom. It's a mushroom? Okay, apparently it is a mushroom. Interesting. As a lifestyle-leaning research doctor, I needed to understand the science. The Obesity Code seemed the most evidence-based summary resource, and I loved it. Fang successfully combines plenty of research, his clinical experience, and sensible nutrition advice, and also addresses these socio-economic forces conspiring to make us fat. Okay. He is very clear that we should eat more fruits and veggies, fiber, healthy protein and fats, and avoid sugar, refined grains, processed foods, and for God's sake, stop fucking snacking. I don't know, could be something about it. Check. I agree. The only part that was still questionable in my mind was the intermittent fasting part. And I do just really have to say in general that being a little bit critical and or skeptical about things that you especially read in the internet and especially also read in books. Like, the thing is, just because it is such a debate about the medium, you also do just have to kind of question whether all the information in books is also right or not. It really fucks with me though that, a lot of people consider books as being the only source and the only medium that is actually spreading truthful and or trustworthy information. Because I also have to say, I still believe that sites like Harvard and the Harvard University, I think they're not gonna spread some bullshit, especially because, it might not be good for their reputation, and reputation is something that is incredibly important for them. I do think the only reason why they have so many students and or their ex-students or the students that actually went to Harvard are so incredibly, a lot of employers want them. Yeah. I do think the only reason for that is just because Harvard has a good reputation. I think that's really it. I think there is nothing more about Harvard than anything else. Maybe they also have a bunch of great lectures and so on, but I don't know. I really don't know. I can't actually tell, but I guess, and the reason why they have great lectures and people that are actually teaching there, I think is only just because they have a good reputation and they have been around with their reputation for quite some time. Yeah, but still, I really have to say, the information books also do not have to be right all the time. The thing is, I also have to say that people who are writing a book and people who are publishing a book, which in general somehow contains some sort of investment from their side, I don't know if they're gonna just publish some bullshit just because, for the sake of publishing something, even though they do just have to pay, maybe, unless they are somehow sponsored or unless the publisher actually somehow takes all the costs, I don't know, if people would actually publish something just for the sake of publishing something, even though a lot of money is involved. I wouldn't think so, I wouldn't think so, or I wouldn't say so as well. But yeah. Intermittent fasting can help weight loss. Intermittent fasting makes intuitive sense. The food we eat is broken down by enzymes in our gut, and eventually it ends up as molecular in our bloodstream. Carbohydrates, particularly sugars and refined grains, think white flours and rice. I shouldn't eat rice? Fuck. Well, let's actually read. Are quickly broken down into sugar, which our cells use for energy. If our cells don't use it at all, we store it in our fat cells as well. Fat, yeah. Reading. But sugar can only enter our cells with insulin, a hormone made in the pancreas. I don't know. Insulin brings sugar into the fat cells and keeps it there. Between meals, as long as we don't snack, our insulin levels will go down, and our fat cells can then release their stored sugar to be used as energy. We lose weight if we let our insulin levels go down. The entire idea of IF, or intermittent fasting, is to allow the insulin levels to go down far enough and for long enough that we burn off our fat. Wow, I haven't actually known that, and I've been gone through, I think, 2 articles on intermittent fasting up to this point, and I still don't know that. Not that good. So intermittent fasting can be hard, but maybe it doesn't have to be. It really does not have to be. And I also do just believe it also depends on, how disciplined you are and how you and what you're doing besides intermittent fasting. Like, I believe, those people that are working out on a regular basis should not have any problems with intermittent fasting. Even though it there also comes up to who you are, and how your relationship with food or to food is. Yeah, a lot of variables, a lot of fucking variables. Initial human studies that compared fasting every other day to eating less every day showed that both worked about equally for fat loss, though people struggled with the fasting days. So I had written off intermittent fasting as no better or worse than simply eating less, only far more uncomfortable. My advice was to just stick with the sensible, plant-based, Mediterranean-style diet. New research is suggesting that not all intermittent fasting approaches are the same, and some are actually very reasonable, effective, and sustainable, especially when combined with a nutritious, plant-based diet. So I'm prepared to take my lumps on this one, and even revise my prior post. We have evolved to be in sync with the day-night cycle. For example, a circadian rhythm, which I've been talking and are reading about in Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker, that I've had as a book summary on this podcast as well. It's an incredibly long summary, but it's an incredibly good book as well. Still, a lot of information there is probably not right, as it I think will always be in relatively scientific publications. I think publications. Yeah. I think there is always going to be just some not true stuff in things, at least sometimes, and at least, if, how should I say, like, I think if the book is just really fucking big and really long, chances are relatively high that there's going to be just some issue with some information, or some information that might not be that true. I guess so. I think so. Our metabolism has adapted to daytime food, nighttime sleep. Nighttime eating is well associated with a higher risk of obesity as well as diabetes. Based on this, researchers from the University of Alabama conducted a study with a small group of obese men with pre-diabetes. They compared a form of intermittent fasting called early time restricted feeding, where all meals were fit into an early 8-hour period of the day, which means 7 a.m. to 3 p.m., or spread out over 12 hours between 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. Both groups maintained their weight, did not gain weight or lose it. Okay, but after 5 weeks, the 8 hours group that had dramatically lower insulin levels and significantly improved insulin sensitivity, as well as significantly lower blood pressure. The best part, the 8 hours group also had significantly decreased appetite, so they weren't starving. I also believe so, we really get used to things relatively quickly, I have to say, especially if it's about fasting and all those things, we really get used to it quite fast, we really do. Just changing the timing of meals by eating early in the day and extending the overnight fast significantly benefited metabolism even in people who didn't lose a single pound. I see. Quite interesting, but the thing is, if you're then not losing weight, I assume it is healthy, I really assume it is healthy, but you're not losing weight, I don't know. I think maybe they would have lost weight over the next, 5 weeks or 10 weeks or whatever, just because their metabolism is just so changed or got so changed. Yeah. So is this as good as it sounds? I was very curious about this, so I asked the opinion of metabolic expert Dr. Deborah Wexler, director of the Massachusetts General Hospital Diabetes Center and associate professor at Harvard Medical School. Here is what she told me. There is evidence to suggest that the circadian rhythm fasting approach, where meals are restricted to an 8 to 10 hour period of the daytime, is effective. I lost the fucking line. She confirmed though, generally she recommends that people use an eating approach that works for them and is sustainable to them. Very important. Like, if intermittent fasting isn't working for you, or kinds of intermittent fasting, then just don't do it. The thing for me was, actually, I do not want to lose weight. I'm skinny just by nature, actually, and I really do not want to lose weight, but rather gain weight. And I still tried intermittent fasting just because it saves me quite some time in the morning, and I'm able to just work. This is one reason. Another reason was that I still have some body fat, especially in the tummy region, that I would like to not have. I would just like to be really fucking lean, at least once in my lifetime. Would be nice. The thing is, it's still pretty difficult to then consume all the calories that I should consume to actually gain some weight, which I'm not doing, by the way, in such a relatively small window. It really is not that easy. It still works. I could still do it. Often I end up eating quite a lot in the evening, which is not that good, especially if you're just going to bed after an hour after you've eaten something. It really is not the best thing, just because it's gonna be just in your stomach. It's gonna lay there. It's gonna be a little bit too filling. It's gonna be, it definitely depends on what you're eating. If you're eating just, I don't know, some veggies or something, there's not gonna be so many problems, I assume. But chances are there that you're not able to sleep that well just because you've eaten such a short time before you went to bed. Yeah, which is really not nice. Sleep is important. Sleep is important. It really is. So here's the deal. There's some good scientific evidence suggesting that circadian rhythm fasting, when combined with a healthy diet and lifestyle, can be a particularly effective approach to weight loss, especially for people at risk for diabetes. However, people with advanced diabetes who are on medications for diabetes, people with a history of eating disorders like anorexia and bulimia, and pregnant or breastfeeding women should not attempt intermittent fasting unless under the close supervision of a physician who can monitor them. I would say so as well. I do believe that there are definitely some reasons? I think, some occasions, situations where people should not be doing the intermittent fasting thing. Maybe if you're having a night shift, I don't know if it's the best thing to eat. Well, it isn't actually possible then, isn't it? You wouldn't eat anything. Don't do that when you're on a night shift, because you wouldn't eat anything. Not a good thing, you would starve. So 4 ways to use this information for better health. The first thing is, avoid sugars and refined grains. Instead, eat fruits, vegetables, beans, lentils, whole grains, lean proteins, and healthy fats. A sensible plant-based Mediterranean-style diet. I do not even know what a Mediterranean-style diet is. I assume it is what she explained just before. Whole grains and lean protein and no refined grains and no sugars and whatever. The second thing is, let your body burn fat between meals, so don't fucking snack. Be active throughout your day, build muscle tone. The third one is, consider a simple form of intermittent fasting. Limit the hours of the day when you eat, and for best effect, make it earlier in the day, between 7 a.m. and 3 p.m. or even 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. But definitely not in the evening before bed. Okay, maybe I should not do this. And the fourth and last thing is, avoid snacking or eating at nighttime all the time. I guess, if you're doing it once or something, it's not going to be such a problem. And especially if you're eating just some refined sugars or, refined grains or whatever it is, once, I think it is not a problem. Still, I do also have to say, just sticking to your habit and not eating them is gonna just really help you, For me, for example, because I have not been eating any sugars or any added sugars or any sweets and chocolate and whatever there is for, I think it is actually 2 years by now. I don't really know. I assume it is 2 years. I do not have a date or something. Unfortunately, if you're starting a new habit that could just really change your life, please note down the date you actually began to do that. It's going to be amazing, to see your progress, to see how long you've been doing it. it's good. I don't know if there's such a big change in how I feel, just because I've been doing it for such a long time. I really have been doing it. Therefore, I can't actually tell, okay, if there is some difference there. The thing is, I assume, especially in terms of my energy levels, they are pretty high throughout the whole day. Also when it's just relatively late, in the evening or late at night, I still often, sometimes not, often do just have the energy for, doing things that I maybe even do not want to do, whether it be learning, whether it be just editing something, whether it be just making the posts. I do just have a lot of energy, which is amazing, which is really fucking amazing. And I do just also have to say that actually not eating any sugar or eating anything that I do not want to eat is way, 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 way easier for me than to eat chocolate or to eat some sweets or to eat some sugar, just because I guess it got such an habit, for me. But yeah, so if you're doing it for quite some time, it's not going to be such a problem if you're sticking to your fucking habit. The fourth and last thing is avoid snacking or eating. Oh, I have read that. I'm sorry. The sources the effect of alternate day fasting on weight loss, weight maintenance, and cardio protection among metabolically healthy obese adults. A randomized clinical trial from 2017 by JAMA International Medicine. Alternate day fasting in non-obese subjects, effects on body weight, body composition, and energy metabolism. American Journal of Clinical Nutrition from January 2005. The obesity code by Jason Fung, MD, 2016. Intermittent fasting intervention for treatment of overweight and obesity in adults, a systematic review and meta-analysis by JBI database of systematic reviews and implementation reports from February 2018. Metabolic effects of intermittent fasting, annual review of nutrition from August 2017. And the last one, early time restricted feeding improves insulin sensitivity, blood pressure, and oxidative stress even without weight loss in men and pre-diabetes. Cell Metabolism, May 2018. So these were the sources, by the way, if I haven't said that before. But yeah, it's been an amazing episode. It's been a really, really, really amazing episode. And why do I have two outro? I do not have two outro, and now I have two before intro. Something is wrong with the software that I'm using, apparently. But yeah, it's been an amazing episode. I felt my energy, and I think this is also going to be edited. I guess, It really comes up to how long it takes for me, because it really adds some time to my schedule. But yeah, I'm seeing that the episodes somehow get better. I'm still not quite sure, because I'm editing it just in the episode as well. So therefore, I do not know, But especially the music in the background is something that really helps with making it maybe a little bit more interesting and whatsoever. But yeah. Thank you very much for listening and watching. I wish you the best health, happiness, and also success. And yeah, I hope that you're going to remind yourself on how you're going to be remembered. So basically your legacy, how you're going to be remembered when you're dead somehow. Like, if people are going to say that you're a very good person, or people on the other hand say, okay, you have been the shittiest person they've ever met in their whole entire life. We basically decide, how we are going to be remembered, even though, not everyone's going to like us. It is just what it is. It is just what it is. Not everyone's going to love us. Not everyone's going to like us. We can't do anything about it. But yeah, I see you the next time. Thanks a lot. And if you've been on the YouTube video, this podcast episode is also available as a podcast. To save some time, you can also listen to it wherever you are. It is basically on every single platform there is. Like Spotify and TuneIn and Apple Podcast and Google Podcast or Google Music or whatever it is. And yeah, thank you very much. I see you. I love you.